vaccine that protects all of us, not just in the U.S. and the entire world. There's a lot of vaccine candidates that we're backing, and I'm optimistic by late next year, one of those will come out. And we need to make sure that gets out to everyone in the world.
Today, we come together as one to express our common humanity. COVID-19 has taken so much from us, but it has also given us unique opportunity to put aside our differences, to break down barriers. I want to thank Lady Gaga, the many artists and humanitarians, global citizen, my friend Hugh Evans, and the United Nations for bringing us together as one world, together at home.
Together, we will defeat this virus and rebuild a fairer world as united global citizens and United Nations.
Tonight, we stand with the people of the world.
The coming days will not be easy, but this global family of ours is strong.
Tonight, we stand as one world, united in our fight to rid the world of this disease.
Sharing the screen today with our partners worldwide to deliver a message of hope. Hope that we can defeat coronavirus together and that we can go back to our normal lives sooner rather than later. And I warmly welcome today's call for global action, and we are ready to respond. Indeed, in just 10 days, on the 4th of May, we will launch a global pledging effort. On that day, we will also announce next milestones of a global campaign. This campaign is to kick off an ongoing rolling replenishment. The aim is to raise 7.5 billion euros to ramp up work on prevention, diagnostics and treatment. And this is a first step only, but more will be needed in the future. Because beating coronavirus will require sustained actions on many fronts. We need to develop a vaccine. We need to produce it and to deploy it in every single corner of the world and make it available at affordable prices. This vaccine will be our universal common good. And I want to invite everyone, governments, business leaders, philanthropists, artists, and citizens to raise awareness about the pledging effort and to help us create a united front against coronavirus. The European Union will spare no effort to help the world come together against coronavirus. Because united, we will make history with a global response to the global pandemic.
Thank you very much. This launch brings together world leaders, the private sector, scientific and humanitarian actors and other partners to promote health, keep the world safe, and advance the public good. Human health is the quintessential global public good. And today we face a global public enemy like no other. In an interconnected world, none of us is safe until all of us are safe. COVID-19 respects no borders. COVID-19 anywhere is a threat to people everywhere. The world needs the development, production, and equitable delivery of safe and effective COVID-19 vaccine, therapeutics, and diagnostics. Not a vaccine or treatments for one country or one region or one half of the world, but a vaccine and treatment that are affordable, safe, effectively, easily administered, and universally available for everyone, everywhere. A world free of COVID-19 requires the most massive public health effort in history. Data must be shared, production capacity prepared, resources mobilized, communities engaged, and politics set aside. I know we can do it. I know we can put people first. These new tools must be a very clear and essential example of a global public good. For too long, we have undervalued and underinvested in global public goods, a clean environment, cybersecurity, peace, and the list goes on. So let this be one vital lesson of this pandemic, the need for new urgency in support of global public goods and universal health coverage. We are in the fight of our lives, we are in it together, and we will come out of it stronger together. Thank you.
Nearer-term things like tokens or fobs that might have NFC or Bluetooth embedded in them, but you can also think about a means of authentication that you could simply wear on your skin every day for a week at a time, say an electronic tattoo. Now, we're talking about wearables. Everybody's interested in I'm profoundly interested in wearables. And what I will tell you is that we've made a lot of advances in wearables, but there's still some fundamental problems that we haven't solved. Like one of them is the mechanical mismatch between humans and electronics, right? So electronics are boxy and rigid, humans are curvy and soft. That's a mechanical mismatch problem. Well, a researcher at the University of Illinois, his name is Dr. Rogers, what he discovered is that he could use standard CMOS techniques to make islands of high-performance silicon connected by accordion-like structures that would allow it to stretch up to 200% and still be performing. So I'm wearing one here on my arm.
Do we have a camera to get a...
This is a developmental system made by MC10. And it has an antenna and some sensors embedded in it. And what we plan to do is work with them to advance a tattoo that could be used for authentication. Now, it may be true that 10 to 20-year-olds don't want to wear a watch on their wrist, but you can be sure that they'll be far more interested in wearing an electronic tattoo, if only to piss off their parents. Right?
And that can have a design, right? Because
Sure.
They would certainly want some kind of cool design.
Options,
right?
options. And that's something that you wear, but you could also imagine including authentication in just your daily habits. So I take a vitamin every morning. What if I could take vitamin authentication?
What?
Vitamin authentication. Look, I have one right here. Well, here, I'll let you hold it. Would you like to hold it?
I'll hold it.
Okay. So this,
You guys see it?
this pill has a small chip inside of it with a switch. It also has what amounts to an inside-out potato battery. When you swallow it, the acids in your stomach serve as the electrolyte, and they power it up, and the switch goes on and off. And it creates an 18-bit ECG-like signal in your body, and essentially your entire body becomes your authentication token.
Basically an effort for man to merge with machine in a healthy way.
Yes.
To beat machines, you basically have to merge with machines.
Most likely, yes.
You're working to build basically an interface to the brain.
Yeah. Electrode to neuron interface at a micro level.
Okay, what is that? Like, I'm gonna have like a plug in my head that's gonna fit into a hard drive? Like, or how does that work?
Yeah. A chip and a bunch of tiny wires.
This would be implanted surgically. And it would do what? Could you input? Could you download Jim?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you envision some scenario in which you attempt to have every American take this antibody test, and on that basis they're permitted or not permitted to go back into society?
You know, something approaching that, Savannah. I'm not so sure it's every American, but I think when we get to the serosurveillance studies, which would be really flooding the society with the availability of the test, I think something akin to what you're saying is possible.
Can you imagine a time where Americans carry certificates of immunity?
You know, that's possible. I mean, it's one of those things that we talk about when we want to make sure that we know who the vulnerable people are and not. This is something that's being discussed.